Hey there! Did you know Kroger always gives you savings and rewards on top of our lower-than-low prices? And when you download the Kroger app, you'll enjoy over $500 in savings every week with digital coupons. And don't forget fuel points to help you save up to $1 per gallon at the pump. Want to save even more? With a Boost membership, you'll get double fuel points and free delivery. So shop and save big at Kroger today. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Savings may vary by state. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our Quick Publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms, and we have our own apps for Apple and Android. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. And welcome to a Red Alert special for Anfield Index, ladies and gentlemen. In March, Liverpool sit top of the league. Let's be hoping in April they will be no fools. And here to review everything on the pitch, back to the future off the pitch, fast forward to everything, is one who's dead inside, one who's somewhere in between, and one who'll be vibing galore. So I'll let you guess who is who. So I'll ask them one by one. Jamesy, how are we?
Awesome. Yeah, looking forward to this.
Yeah, you can probably guess which one gives up the sensitive nonsense. And then to Mark, how are we?
Very well, mate. Looking forward to it.
Very much looking forward to it. And ladies and gents, we'll do a lot of things. We'll talk about the results from March. We'll talk about players. We'll talk about off the field. We'll talk about other matters. We'll talk about the upcoming month of April and how embedded we are in this title charge. Before we get going, ladies and gents, I'm sure you've heard the recording from Eddie, but as we always like to say, it gets tougher and tougher in the current climate to record free content. As much as we want to bring you fan content for fans, by fans at no expense, the reality is a little bit different. So just a reminder that simply for the price of a cup of coffee per month, you can get me and two other tag-alongs on a monthly basis. But here we go. So, March. Christ, there was a lot of emotions. I feel tired for it. We've not even got into April yet. I mean, you look at them results. What's your gut say out loud?
I mean, you've got to be positive still, surely. I mean, you know, there was a few ups and downs in that month, but the train is still very much on the track. We're still really in the fight. It's all still to play for. I mean, if you think back to the month, the Nottingham Forest game, that first one of the month, that last-minute goal with Nunes, 96th minute, unbelievable. In a normal season, that would be like the season highlight, a 96th minute winner like that. And this season, it's just another week for these Reds. In fact, we started the month, kind of how we finished the month, with McAllister playing a beautiful ball into one of our forwards to win us the game. Then we had the two Sparta games sandwiched by the crunch tie with Man City. We pretty much swiped them aside, if we're honest. You know, they were routine victories, hammered them 6-1, 5-1. Some nice goals for the forwards. Szoboszlai getting a few. It was really no complaints in those games at all. The big City one, I mean, a tough one to know whether you're happy or sad about that, because let's be honest, we should have won it. We definitely should have won it. We had them. It's one of the only times in years I've seen City look properly beaten in performance. We had them in every department. We were going for them. We were creating. We just didn't manage to get it over the line. You know, you could say what you like about refereeing or whatever, but we just didn't manage to get over the line. However, we did get away without losing, which meant that we were, you know, going to come out of having played the top two, our main rivals for the titles, ahead of Manchester City, the one we're worried about. They were going to go and play Arsenal, which we now know was a draw, the perfect result for us. That's really, really positive. So that left us a proper title running with all games that we are capable of winning. And if you asked us all in August would you have taken it? Of course you would. You would have, bitten off every hand you could find to be in this position. So massively, massively positive. Then there's the obvious downside in the month, the FA Cup defeat to Manchester United. I think if remove the Manchester United factor, and I think we would all be a little honest and say if we could have picked one to drop out of, to lose it would have been the FA Cup. Obviously, it would have been lovely to knock United out and put more misery onto them, but I think in the cold light of day, we have to just take that one, take our medicine. We weren't very professional in the end of it. We let them onto us. We gave them chances. We didn't finish them when we should have, and we were punished for it. It's a lesson to learn. We go forward. It's the one we could afford to fall out of. We have fallen out of it. And then the month finishes with the game that we just saw at the weekend there with Brighton, which maybe to some people looked easy on paper. I never thought it would be. And it was really, really difficult. They were tactically excellent, I thought. They went for us. They were dangerous. They knew where some of our weaknesses were, I think. I think they played well with the fact that Gomez was going to be inverted, that Bradley likes to get high. They used those wing spaces really well, got at us. Took an early lead with a brilliant, well-bit goal. Guy who always just seems to fucking score when he plays against us. And then, we dug in, really. We dug in and we capitalised on an odd sort of set play, and Diaz does really well to read that, gets in, great finish, we're level. It goes to the end there, and just a tremendous bit of quality to win the game. Szoboszlai does brilliantly, whips it in so hard at McAllister's feet, he kills it, sees Salah, gives it to Salah, and it was lucky shot number 12 from Salah. He buried it, and ultimately got the one that matters, and we come away with the victory. We're top of the league, we're points clear. It's just super positive on that front. Really exciting month. It didn't all go our way, but I end up feeling really positive. What about yourselves?
It's weird. See, Jamesy, with you, I look at that game when we lost to United and it hurt. I look at the City game, like Mark said, and we should have won that one as well. There's a frustration there. It still lingers a little bit. But do you agree with Mark overall? He's still looking, when you sit down in the cold light of day now, are you positive for that month?
Of course, we were 12 to 14 players out, injured, right? So I had to kind of write this down in relation, and right, what do you hear this, right? So this is who we had out against Man United. Alisson, Trent, Ibu, Szoboszlai, Salah, Robbo, Gomez, Diaz, Jota, Jones, Gravenberch, Thiago, Baj, and Doak. So that was the second part of extra time. That was the team that was out, right? This is who we ended up. Gallagher, Bradley, Kwanzaa, VVD, Tsimikas, Endo, McAllister, Elliott, Gakpo, Nunez, and Clark. Now, to even put that into even more context, their 4 subs was £260 million. That was more than our starting 11. Boys, how can you not say that you can be positive and optimistic with that?
And critically, we should have still beat them. We should have still beat them with all that.
Yeah, but that's, when you look at the injuries and you look at what we've come through, that's why I'm like, we've had a fantastic month. Got it about Man City, but it's one of those things. Football's fine margins. We should have put them away. We know that. And that kind of VAR's decision at the end, I mean, we're getting used to it. Like, there's no point. There's no point having a big discussion about it. It's just one of those things that happen, and we just have to move on.
Yeah, and obviously it's just accentuated by the logical decision to appoint Anthony Taylor for this coming weekend's game, isn't it? In a Manchester and a Greater Manchester official. That just makes complete logical sense, doesn't it, in that regard? And do you know what? You're probably right. It is right to be positive. And maybe I had just been the fat lad at the buffet, but we still should have beat United. That City one, you're kind of hoping you're not looking back to the future and just thinking like, if we got the point there, but the thing is, you could do that a lot with a lot of games and a lot of scenarios. And you're all right to say we're a couple of points clear, to be fair.
I think the thing with the Man United one is it's only okay if we go on to win the league. It's only okay, if that little gap in the calendar is taken advantage of. It's not okay just to one by one watch all these trophies disappear, and fall out of them all. I'm looking at it as positive because of the opportunity it presents. It gives us that little space in the calendar, a little more in the engine when, as James said, we've had all these injuries that you cannot overestimate how difficult that has been with all those injuries. It's not just recently. That's pretty well since Christmas now. We've had a crippled squad. Now, if we had fallen out the top four and, fallen apart, kind of like it did a few years ago with a similar level of injuries, you wouldn't have had too many complaints about the way we'd been managing things. It would have just been a case of, well, what can you do? All these injuries, who could live with that? Nobody could live with that. And the reality is really different than that. We're still fighting on the two most important fronts, having won one cup with a completely injury-ravaged team. And again, critically, the most important part of the positivity is that the squad is starting to look better. It's starting to be almost all of them are back or almost back. There's very few that we consider really important that aren't there or thereabouts now.
James,
if we go back to Nottingham Forest too, 22 shots we had and 2 on target. 2 on target and then 19 shots in the box as well. 19 shots and 2 on target. Come on. And there have been warning signs, right? Because even Brighton as well, Salah was extremely wasteful. I nearly would have said that, he scored, but extremely wasteful. I would have had, and again, personal preference, before he scored, I would have had Elliott on. I think there would have been more of a balance. Yeah, no, but that's just, at the end of the day.
I guess that goes to show why Klopp's in charge and not you.
Well, I'm a fan, right? I can have an opinion.
Yeah.
You can. And moving on, while your credibility is shot to shit, we might as well ask you to start with, what would you say is the best and worst result? Probably easy for one, but it might be a bit more difficult for the other. What's your best and worst result of the month, Jamesy?
Well, I would say the best result was probably Brighton, because we're under the cosh straight away. The 2-1, that again, I would agree with Mark. That was that was a bit of could have been a banana skin. They're a bogey team for Klopp, let's face it. And they love them drive and run from midfield. So I was like, we could be under the cosh here. So I would say that. The City one probably stings the most, right? Because that's points. That's that the United one I've made my bed with, looking at the team that we had and the squad. I just think it was just too much. I think the City one's the one that really stings. Should have put them away, and also the penalty as well. It's a wee bit.
Not what I thought you'd say, but the City one in the Crow. Any different for you, Mark?
It is actually, yeah. James's worst performance is my best one. I think the Man City result, not losing that game, yes, we should have won it, but if we're just talking about the result, that result means that we are still in the title. The other ones, you could slip against other teams and it'd be less important. I think to have lost to Man City at home would have ended our title race. Even if it didn't quite on points, I think in the mind it would have. I think it would have just given them that edge over us. I think getting away from that, you and I were there, Dave, we were sitting next to each other, we're pretty frustrated in that second half. But I did feel relief when the whistle went. And that was because of what it meant. It meant that we were finishing ahead of them, and we didn't have to play them again, and it was all in front of us. And I know a lot of people won't agree with that opinion that is the best result, but for me, it kept us in the title. It means it's there for you. I mean, what more can you ask for than just to have nothing, no Man City or Arsenal to play, and 10 games left, and all you have to do is go and win them. That's it. You just have to go and win them. That's the dream at this stage. It really is. You can't just run away with titles. We're in an excellent position, and it's because we didn't lose that game.
But Mark, let me put that back to you, right?
Sure.
So if we beat City, would that mean that they're completely out of the title race? Would that have been their league gone?
Not for me, no, because they have the history, they have the track record of just going into these runs and relentlessly winning. If someone told you that Man City go and win the last 9, you wouldn't be surprised, would you? I think I'd be a little more surprised to imagine us doing that after losing to them, where I can see them losing to us and still just going on to win the last 10 because they're that relentless. They're so difficult. What you critically do not want to do is fall behind them. How many league titles have we been chasing them when we've only been one game away from them, and they never let go? They never let go. They find a way in every single game right to the end. And what we've done with that draw is not allow them that luxury. We are now the ones that have to slip. They have to chase us.
Well, I'll jump in here and tell you why you're both wrong and do a bit of education for you, because of community outreach, I think it's called nowadays. So the best result in the month, the Forest game. 96 minute, to say what the kids say nowadays, I think they call it the ultimate piss boiler, don't they, type of thing. Like, if you ever thought this was special, the 96-minute Darwin winner against Forest at the City Ground. We know we hate Forest. We know what it meant. It was the early kickoff. It also dispels the fact about people panicking and thinking, we're cursed, Grobbelaar's got to take a piss on the goals and all that type of thing. I could only assume he had an enema before this one, because that is pretty special. That is massive, and just what it meant. And the worst result, I don't want to hear it's the FA Cup. It's them. They're crap. They were there for the taking. We threw it away. You look how bad they are at the moment, just objectively. We all saw that game the other night. They are terrible. We conceded 4 goals to them. Anthony scored, a fucking fidget spinner scored. Do you know what I mean? There was a lad on loan at Sunderland. City was a draw, and again, it wasn't what we wanted, but we lost to them. I can't see how that...
I totally agree with you on the United one. Totally agree.
I don't need a VPN. I've got nothing to hide. This is what I used to tell myself before I hooked up with LibertyShield.com. Not only is my home internet now fully encrypted, but I can now access all the websites I want, whenever I want, and do so from absolutely anywhere. As a Liverpool fan, I love to know I can now watch every match, regardless of whether it's on UK TV or not. My Liberty Shield VPN makes sure nothing is blocked and guarantees me super fast streaming speed throughout that match. You can get connected right now with their software package, which includes a 48-hour no-obligation free trial and instant access to their apps for Apple, Android, Fire TV, PC, Mac, and Android TV. Or go a step further like I have and get one of their pre-configured VPN routers. These small but powerful devices allow you to easily connect every device in your home to VPN, making it the perfect solution for smart TVs, Mac boxes, and games consoles. Visit LibertyShield.com today and use coupon code AIVPN25 to get 25% off at checkout.
I don't, boys. I just don't. I don't. And the Nottingham Forest, I mean, like 22 shots and 22 shots. It was like there was square boots on the Liverpool players. Like some of the shots were woeful. As a performance, it wasn't great. Result, yes, definitely. But again, going back to the Man United, I think the Man City. If we were talking between, would you have rather had Man United and we winning the FA Cup or winning the league? What would you take?
That wasn't the question. That wasn't the question, though. I'm talking the reality.
I'm asking both of you, what would you take?
Yeah, but now your revision is in history. Like, I know what I'd take, but that's not what happened, is it? And I know the point, and I get it, but that wasn't what happened, was it?
Yeah. And one was a draw and one was a defeat. So it's also, apples and oranges. One kept us in the title race, one knocked us out a cup against our arch rivals.
And I get that, and I get its context. But James, you were going to take off Salah and bring on Elliott, so your credibility is going forward.
But here's the thing, right? So what happens? So you just there's 11 shots, not on target. He's not completely fit. He's coming fit, but he just keeps playing. Is that what we're supposed to do with Salah?
Yeah.
When if you put Elliott on, it's going to be more balanced.
Yeah, but if you look at those final moments, I mean, he plays that ball to Diaz, which was sensational, and he gets the goal. I'm totally with you, and I think Salah's playing below his level, but his numbers aren't below his level. His numbers are just what they always are, no matter what he does.
Exactly. And be interested on this, because the next question, I'll come to you with this, Mark, because you weren't bringing Harvey Elliott on. So the best player in this recent period? I'm pretty, no, actually, let me not assume, but I've got a fair idea what the answer is going to be.
Yeah, I'd give like special mention to both Kelleher and Diaz. I just thought they had really good months. I thought they contributed well. Diaz in particular, I think he's still just slightly going under the radar as after the blip he had kind of, around the time where he had the family troubles and things. I think he's really come back to the party for us, Diaz. And if I'm perfectly honest, I didn't expect him to come back in the way he has. He looked like he couldn't take on his man anymore, and now he can. He's contributing big goals, big moments, and he's just his heart is so in it. He's running relentlessly right to the last minute. I think he's inspiring almost, with his running power. Similar for Kelleher, I thought I didn't have much hope for Kelleher, truth be told, coming in, and I've been really pleased with what he's done for us. Then it comes to the two that, honestly, I really, really struggle to split these two for who was the most important, and that's Van Dijk and McAllister. Van Dijk is practically flawless for me at the moment. I mean, he really is. He's I mean, I won't bore you with going into all the Van Dijk stuff. We've all heard it a million times before, but he's just at the very top of his game for me. And McAllister, again, I would have to admit and say I underestimated him. I misjudged quite how good he was. Thought he was good, but I didn't think he was this good. I would go as far to say that Brighton performance from McAllister was up there with any midfield performance you will ever see from a Liverpool midfielder. It was sensational. It had absolutely everything. You mentioned it yourself a minute ago, the calmness in the Nottingham Forest game at the end. Well, that was him. He personified that. That he had the chance to whip that on his right foot, and it was a difficult angle, and the defender might have got across him, and he chose to take it back round onto his weaker left side and lofted just the perfect ball onto Darwin's head. And, those moments change seasons. If we hadn't got that goal, again, I would doubt our ability to bounce and head for a title. And, his calmness in the moment did it. His quality against Brighton with that pass, his calmness to take the penalty against City. He also got a goal against Sparta. I think he was just absolutely superb, incredible. His best month in a red shirt. And I think all Liverpool fans would now probably agree McAllister is our most important midfielder. When you saw how Szoboszlai started the season, how well Jones has played in Endo's role, he's head and shoulders over all of them. He's the one you would pick easily. He's number one on the team sheet for midfield, no doubt about it.
He has been pretty special. Van Dijk in the mix as well. James E., same names, any different for you?
No, I would agree with Mark. I mean, Van Dijk's just been absolutely sublime, but McAllister, again, we talk about going up the next level. He's just a rock. He's everything that we've wanted in a midfielder. It's his creativity, it's his vision, it's his guile. He has it all. He's a complete midfielder. We're very lucky, and what a steal.
Yeah, it almost seems crazy with McAllister that for most of the season, 90% of it, we've been talking about how well he's done as a six, but he's not a six. And now Endo's really gone in there and he's moved forward again. He's gone up a level again, hasn't he, really? Better than what we saw at Brighton. Better than, I think, if we're honest, what we thought we were getting. I'm a little bit different in terms of, I do think it's McAllister, and this isn't to be derogatory against Van Dijk in any way, but you look at the difference maker element, it's McAllister makes a difference, doesn't he, against Forest? That's a massive moment, so you put that on. McAllister is probably man of the match, maybe with Van Dijk against City, but McAllister gets the penalty, doesn't it? Do you remember he took the penalty and there was a big delay?
Yeah.
And the little gorgeous ginger bugger was just doing kick-ups in the area, wasn't he? As like it was delayed. It was amazing. I was like, that was just brilliant to watch. United, this is where maybe I'm splitting hairs, but just to be honest, in context, he gets the opening goal, doesn't he? He has a good game. I don't like seeing our defence conceding 4 goals when Van Dijk's there, if you know what I mean. And that doesn't make him bad this month. You don't just change 12-year-old good to bad. But there's that. And again, like you said, I know Salah gets the goal, but McAllister, another difference maker in that game as well. So I do just think, honestly, it's a high level. It's incredibly good level from Van Dijk. But McAllister romps it for me. I really think that. I think he's been that special this month.
He also really got the penalty against City as well. That would have been another defining moment. That final VAR one was against him.
Yeah, remember
True.
as well the wee death ball into Bradley as well at the end with for Brighton. That was an unbelievable. Like again, it was nearly like they were telepathic, just straight in. He just seen and he just slid the ball in and away he went, and that was amazing. And him and Nunez have a really good partnership as well. And it's good to see, because now you've got the attacking threat, but you've also got the defensive threat as well, where he's good, he breaks up the play and he can move the play on, which is really, really good.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
everything goes through him, it seems, at the moment. I think that's indisputable, really.
I think he's got one of those. You rarely get it, but a midfielder that can kind of read all different forwards. Gerrard was it. Didn't really matter who. Like even when Andy Carroll was our forward, Gerrard found a way to be quite useful for him. He figured the kind of balls he likes. McAllister's shown a bit of that. It's like you said, not many of our players have kind of figured Darwin out. I still think there's levels to go there. In how dangerous we can make him. And McAllister seems to have, since he's gone out of the 6 and back into the 8, he seems to have just got that immediately. Knows like the round the corners, the over the tops, that early ball, give Darwin the advantage. He seems to just instinctively know that stuff. He's got that like in-game intelligence. He knows when to break play up. He knows when to play that pass. He's just so impressive. He's like a collection of there's bits of Thiago in there. There's bits of Gerrard in there. There's bits of Wijnaldum in there. There's all sorts of great stuff in him.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he doesn't mind the tackle either. He loves a good, the Latino kind of that kind of flair of the Argentinian. He loves a good old tackle, which is good to see.
Listen, if he had pace, he'd be in the Ballon d'Or conversation, wouldn't he? He's that good. He is. But it almost feels sad to do this in a way, Jamesy. It has been a great month, and say in terms of vibes, we've talked about it there, the performance, the players. There's been so many good things. Is there anyone you've just got a little underlined pencil mark under and thinking, pick it up a little bit with this month that's coming and what's needed?
Of course, Gakpo, hands down, Gakpo. He needs to go up 3 or 4 levels. The thing, right, let's talk about the optimistic side of Gakpo. He's resilient. He seems that he never gets injured. His fitness is very good. Help me out here, boys. I'm starting to struggle now. but
It's hard to get injured if you never play.
I'm trying to be. I don't know what I'm trying to be, but he gets into good positions, but he just can't put the ball in the net. And when he comes on, and if he's coming on as a sub, he has to make an impact, and he doesn't. And sometimes he's more detrimental than he's worth.
God, that's as damning as you can get, I think, with your positivity. Mark, same name?
Actually, no, I didn't say Gakpo because I'm hoping, when Jota comes back and with Elliott playing well, that we just won't see him. I'm hoping that he won't be involved. I know that's like a little mean, but we're going for a title, and I just don't think he's at it. I don't think he's up to it. I don't want to see him on the park. Simple as that for me. So when I'm thinking, who do I want to see more from? I'm thinking, who's going to give us the title? Who's going to get us where we need to be? And there are 2 names for me. One is Mo Salah, and the other one is Szoboszlai. And I say that because I have enormous expectations of those 2 players, and I think both of them are playing just a little below their level. And if we're going to go and win a title, I think it would only take Salah to hit peak Salah right now, and he would likely take us there. I really do. I think he's that capable. If Salah hits peak form right now and gives us 9 more top Salah performances, I think there's a title in there. Equally, Szoboszlai, I thought what we saw in the last 20 minutes at Brighton was superb from him. Best we've seen since the early months of the season. I think if he can come back to that kind of form and take it these last 9 games, I think it's title-winning stuff.
Yeah, Mark, but you also have to remember as well, Salah and Szoboszlai are only coming back from a hamstring injury, and they're rusty. And they've been told not to go full pelt. I'll agree with you. He was something else about in that last 20 minutes. It was like a wee button was pressed and he was so quick. And we know how quick he is. But, it's maybe going to hopefully he hits form soon. But, you just have to give these guys time, especially coming back from a hamstring injury.
Yeah, I'm not criticizing them for why their level is low. The question is, who do we want to see a bit more from? Salah's the big one for me. I mean, as well as he was doing, his level of how clinical he was there in that last game. If he carries that to the end of the season, it'll hurt us. There'll be a game where we don't win if that's the level he's shooting at. That's just a fact. You can't miss that many shots, and there were some good ones in there.
So just to clarify, in the 5 games since he's been back, Mo Salah, who has 3 goals, 3 assists, and the match winner on Sunday, if Jurgen Klopp would let you in the dressing room, you would say, just up it a little bit, Mo, just get your finger out type of thing.
It'd be a lot more of a cuddle. It'd be a lot more of a come here, Mo. Mo, come here. Listen, you're the main man here, and I know what you can do.
It's more about he is world class, and I mean absolute world class. But if he's playing his balls and the way that he plays his ball and the last kind of the passes and his decision making, it's just been off completely. And even though his numbers don't speak, I know exactly what Mark's saying. I would like to see him going back to prime Salah again. And yeah, I would agree with you, Mark, 100%.
I think he will as well. That's it. I think he will. I really do. I don't doubt him. I think it's just a case of the injury. A few getting minutes back in the legs, that level of sharpness, I think he'll get there. And I think if he does, I really do think it's title winning stuff. I think Salah could, single-handedly kick us on there. And I'd love to see in these next couple of weeks a Mo Salah, let's do this tweet. Love to see like one of those, we're going for this, boys.
Oh,
I would love it.
That was the first thing you said in the last 3 minutes that didn't make me think you'd taken MDMA before you'd started this podcast, to be honest. So yeah, that would be erotic to see Mo Salah like, I'm going to carry it, like black and white photo of it all and everything. That would be insane. However, Jamesy, you redeemed yourself because there was the Harvey Elliott nonsense earlier, but you're completely right. Cody Gakpo is now a massive, and I can't even say, and maybe actually I'm drifting into you even now, Mark. He's been a source of frustration, I think, throughout this month because we've been in this ground, and sometimes where the cameras aren't always on the player, so you don't see it on TV. We've been sat there going, he's fucking walking as players have gone past him, like literally in a title race where we are and what's needed. The reason we love, you think of a fellow Dutchman, Dirk Kuyt. We love Dirk Kuyt. Let's be honest, Dirk Kuyt was absolute turd at times, like terrible. Why was it? Every ounce of energy he had, he put on that pitch. You just watch it. And even on that Brighton game, we're watching it, he came on and players just walked past him at times. I'm not asking you to be brilliant. I'm asking you to work your nuts off, minimum, as we say, minimum. And it's just not happening. And we've talked about this before. He's built like an NBA athlete. He's quick. He's got all the attributes, the pure attributes you need. We see this. And by the way, if you remember that Sparta game, but I know it was people going to say it's 6-1 in the second leg. Do you remember that one where he picked it up in his own half, held about 3 of them off, and then drew? So he can do it. We're not talking about skill here. We're talking about will, aren't we? And he's just not showing it. And maybe a little bit drifting into you, Mark. If you're not going to commit that to the cause at this time, when are you ever going to? And I know he's well liked and he seems popular, but maybe if that is what you're going to serve up, do I want to see you near the first team? Probably not at the moment, to be honest. And that does sound drastic and it is positive, but I didn't think we'd be needing to say at this title stage where we are, a player needs to really just up it effort-wise. And I know the stats look decent, but people level that. The stats look decent. There was 2 goals and assists against Sparta, wasn't there, in that 6-1 hammering? Do you know what I mean? It's a nice stat padder, as we say. So, yeah. But overall, I'll ask you one last question. March is a month. One word. Mark?
Positive.
Hey.
One word?
Oh, fuck, that's 2 already, isn't it?
Positive's a good one. I would say steady.
Taken.
Steady is a good one. Steady.
Gosh, that was the longest one word ever. Good stuff. So, yeah, a positive end to March.
Hey guys, it's Eddie Gibbs from Anfield Index here. I hope you're enjoying this podcast and I'm sorry to call time on the show before it ends. In the current climate, it's tougher than ever before to offer podcasts for free. At Anfield Index, we produce over 75 free shows every month, which I'm confident is unparalleled in the LFC sphere. Whilst we'd love to offer everything for free, the production costs now make this impossible. That said, we don't want to follow the model of other channels and lock all of our content behind a paywall. So what we've decided to do is to continue offering every show for free, but cut that offering to 30 minutes on our longer shows. So to get all of our shows in full and enjoy the best of everything we have to offer, we really hope you'll consider supporting the channel and signing up at AnfieldIndexPro.com. For about the price of 1 cup of coffee, you'll get every podcast in full with 0 ads. You'll also get access to our LFC VIP community, where you can enjoy live podcasts, engage with our podcasters, and chat with other Reds in real time. So that website again, AnfieldIndexPro.com. Join today.
Sports Social Podcast Network.